What's going on, guys? It's your boy Az. We are back. We are just quickly gonna run over some of these difficult nodes that people are having issues with, and I think this one is one of the problematic ones because of the super scroll. So we'll go into it again. And I did have Silver Sable here as a skirmisher to help kind of rip off the taunts off of absorbing man. But yeah, this one's kind of it's a little bit tricky, but it's not too bad once you kind of get the hang of it. This one, you just want to make sure you have all your cooldowns when the super scroll drops. So again, with the start, you're just going to take a couple of hits, and then what we want to do is we want to open up with the big ult to strip everything down. Hopefully it rips everything off. If not, just kind of reset and retry it again. We'll throw the stun on Ancient One because we don't want her stripping buffs. We don't want her getting counterattack. And then what's important here is we want to use the ult right on Quicksilver. This is going to allow him to spawn Scarlet Witch, and it'll also get his health down because he's also quite squishy. And with Electra, we'll be able to one shot her. And then we can also use Electra to target Quicksilver as well here for energy. That should hopefully kill him off and give us a little burst of energy back to the group. And then from this point on, you want to make sure you focus your attacks on the left side because the right side is a little bit more squishier with Panda there. And if he drops, then the next wave kind of drops as well here, depending on where the turn meters fall. But yeah, just focus on the left side. The only time we'll hit that side is when we have to use Silver Sable's special, which basically applies the defense down to that side. But I'll show you guys what I'm talking about when it actually happens. So we just take a couple hits. We're still focusing on Black Knight because out of the bunch, he's kind of the big tanky one, and he can take a little bit of a beating, and he won't really. We don't really have to worry too much about his health per se. And then yeah, once we get to that, we get to that turn, we can use the special here. Again, he's taking some hits for us, which is fine. We'll take his taunts off and his buffs and everything like that, thanks to Punisher. And then, yeah, now we kind of have our cooldowns pretty much back up here now. I think Silver Sable is about 2 turns off from her ult. And this is kind of where we still want to kind of keep some of these guys on the board here because we're building turn bar. And again, yeah, Silver Sable does her thing. Now she's only about 1 energy off from her ult when it gets to her turn. And then now kind of where everyone is low health, now you can kind of see this is a situation where you can probably get ready to drop Super Scroll. So we'll do the Punisher chain. That's going to probably kill off somebody. That's going to give energy. Silver Sable should be full energy now. And actually we're lucky because now we have Electra as well. Electra, she can guarantee a kill here with her ult. Let's focus on Black Knight because he's kind of beefy. And then again, she's gonna get energy back to the group, and you guys will see here now. The next wave should drop, I think, right after this turn. I don't know how the turn bars fall, but they always drop kind of in the most inconvenient time. So we'll throw the ult here. And again, stripping the taunts because of the skirm tag. And that's important because if you don't get to scroll and stun him, he's going to be unstoppable and it's going to be hard to stop him. He's just a pain in the ass because once he gets through our buffs, he just gets that extra turn bar and then he just keeps going and going and going and going. And then, yeah, so... Does that make sense? Once you get rid of the super scroll, I don't really find this node is an issue. I find that most people will generally, they generally won't have problems with this node because it's literally just a super scroll that's kind of giving us a little bit of grief. And once people get through that and once they learn, the mechanic on how they play that specific node, then it becomes a little bit easier. And I mean, it's not, you still need some pretty beefy characters to get through, but I did recall when I didn't have my tier 20 characters back in the day and they were only tier 19 105, we were able to do it playing around with ISO 8s and making sure that nobody dies and just kind of timing our cooldowns correctly. And yeah, back then it was nice for me because it was kind of more like a puzzle, right? You want to figure out the best way to do it, and that was kind of the way to do it. And then, of course, as well, yeah, you want to clean up, and you want to make sure that, you can clean up the garbage before the next node. So that's node number 3 here. We'll jump into another pesky node that people run into, and like I said, I've gotten a few questions about some very common ones, so I'm kind of going over the common ones here slowly here and trying to do my second run here. But fairly straightforward. Node 4 afterwards isn't too bad, but we're going to jump into node 8. Node 8 is another one that requires a little bit of finesse, and once you kind of know the technique for it, I think it is fairly straightforward. Node 8 becomes a problem because there's the Odin, right? The Odin is involved there, and he becomes an issue because Odin is Odin. But fairly straightforward. When we spawn here, we want to make sure that we can use, we want to use Silver Sable's ult and land the defense down. That is going to make the world of a difference. And even when she has a skirm tag on her, the resistance on Odin is quite high. So you want to make sure you can just keep trying it. It is a quick little reset because we usually get the first turn. So it is fairly quick, fairly painless. And we don't have to wait till a whole bunch of animations. We just see if we get the defense down on there. It doesn't, we cancel out. Now, if you don't have the defense down, trust me when I say it, just like speed up, when they have defense down, it gives 50% more damage input from all our attacks. So that means it's quite a bit of damage. He's basically getting doubled his damage, right? So you want to make sure you can land that defense down. So again, we don't get it here. No worries. It doesn't take us long to reposition ourselves and to do it again here. But yeah, fairly straightforward. And once we get that defense down, and let's see if we can land it on this one here. Let's see if this one works here. So this one does land. What's important next is you want to stun Blade. By stunning Blade, you're going to bounce to Odin. Don't stun Odin because it bounces off to, I forget who it bounces off to, somebody else, maybe Havoc or something. But then from that point on, you can apply the slow from Daredevil, and then yeah, chain attack. You can do the ult. You can pretty much land everything here. And just keep in mind here, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to cluster this Odin, trying to hit both the Havocs as well, because the Havocs are kind of annoying with their pings. So you want to make sure you can kind of group this attack on the cluster here. So right here, we're gonna throw the special right here, so it hits both Havocs. It's gonna hit Blade. It's gonna basically hit everybody but Man-Thing. Man-Thing's fine. He's harmless. He doesn't really do much. This special should hopefully kill off Odin, I hope. Or either way, he should bleed out, regardless if he gets a turn or not. But yeah, if he gets a turn and he does a special, it's going to sting like a mofo. So that's why we want to do it beforehand. Again, we throw the big special there, trying to cluster the Havocs, trying to get everybody in there. And now you can kind of see here, Blade's low, Havoc's low, Man-Thing we don't really care about. He's going to be fairly easy to deal with later on. We can throw the big ult here. That's going to handle one of them. And then again, we get energy back to the group. Energy back to the group is very important in this role, in this node specifically, because moving on to the next sections, we're not going to have those raid bonuses, right? So you want to make sure you're very, you're watchful on your cooldowns as well here for the next section. So again, we take care of Blade. Now there's just a couple stragglers. We can throw the stun on Hank because he does his weird annoying heal things, and I don't like that. So we'll take care of Havoc now, so he'll stop pinging us. Again, more energy back to the group because we have raid bonuses active. We'll throw the big ult here. That should take care of Hank. And then you can kind of clean up the loose change. This should take care of Captain Bryn. He's not going to revive thanks to the Vigilantes passive. Again, we can basically just bleed out Dormammu. He isn't going to be an issue. And then we just have basically these big meaty shields left over to take care of, and fairly straightforward. You just kind of have to gun them down, and it actually works out in our favor because now we can kind of rebuild our cooldowns, and we can kind of keep an eye on check and see where our abilities are at, and in worst case we can reset and kind of do it again and see if we get ourselves into a better situation. Because yeah, you do want your abilities up in the next section because it does get a little bit harder, but we used Fantastic Four, and that helps a lot in the next section here. Vigilantes have kind of done their job, and now they can kind of sit on the back burner, and you can use them later on if you need to. But just knowing that they have all their abilities, all their ultimates and their specials, and everything's ready, you can feel good that this is going to be another solid attack attempt if they have to go in. So anyways, so that is node number 8. Another problematic one is the node 14. That's another one that people don't like because that's the one that has not node 14, node 12, excuse me. That's the one that has kind of the Thanos end games and the apocalypse. But yeah, we'll go into that one next year. But yeah, as you guys can kind of see, we're making pretty good progress. Again, we used Vigilante on this one and on the third node, and yeah, now we'll go into this node here. This one's important because you need to go in with a sack wave. It doesn't matter who you use. If you use a curse, they're going to auto it. But if I preferably, use your Thunderbolts, because most people will have Thunderbolts built up because it raids. So that's kind of the reason here. But yeah, this node is a problem because you want to soak up that initial attack. You want to get the Thanos end games. You want to get their abilities off. You want to see if you can basically land and get rid of some stuff here, so that way it's not an issue later on. Yeah, and just try to do as much damage as you can. You can pretty much just hit auto. I mean, it doesn't really matter what type of damage input they do, as long as they're wasting Apocalypse's ult, as long as they're burning off some cooldowns. And then again here, Thanos does his little ult here. Preferably in an ideal world, you would want Taskmaster and Songbird to do their thing, and then of course as well, you want them to kind of release and use their push, right? The one where, yeah, that right there. So where that would be best case scenario, so that way you don't have to deal with it when you bring in your Vigilantes, when you bring in your Fantastic Four. It just makes things so much easier if those are already dealt with. And then we'll go in here with our Fantastic Four afterwards for cleanup, because you can use Vigilante, but I still find Fantastic Four will make a pretty quick cleanup mess of this. And most people will have Fantastic Four built up because of arena meta, because Fantastic Four has been kind of the go-to team for a lot of teams right now, for Crucible, for War, for Battle World. So they're kind of just a go-to team, and I'm assuming you guys have them built up. Even on my baby account, they're pretty much like locked in as, farm them right when you start the game, and Thing, Human Torch, whatever, just try to get them built up, because you need them for Quasar, you need them for Blastar, Thunderstrike, that sort of thing, right? And again here, Hyperion's just kind of wasting some damage, or wasting attacks here, but yeah, you don't want them to rebuild cooldowns as well here. So I wish he wasn't as like tanky, but yeah, mine's pretty beefy, so you can kind of tell here they're just taking their sweet ass time with it. And then finally he gets clobbered. So okay, so we're going to jump in here, and again, you don't need to have Quasar, but it does help. I have him just for the defense and immunity when he spawns, but yeah, it's very good if you have even just a 5-piece Fantastic Four. Miss Sue here is going to open up with her big ult. That's going to basically just decimate the Thanoses, so we don't have to worry about them. Again, we've already burned off a lot of their cooldowns, so we don't need to worry about a lot of problematic issues here. And again, Franklin, you can throw his ult here because we do have, we have time to kind of build it back up as well before the final nodes. But yeah, you can kind of see why, like I said, that sack wave, if you go into this without the sack wave and it's just straight Fantastic Four, you could probably still do it. It's just a lot harder. And I mean, we have teams to burn, and it is going to take a little bit more RNG and a little bit of strategy, but yeah, it is doable. It's just, like I said, I'm lazy, and this is kind of the best approach to it. If you like I said, if you don't have a Fantastic Four, you can still run in with Vigilantes here, and it's not going to be like a walk in the park, but it will be easier with that sack wave. If you don't get that sack wave in there, it makes a heck of a difference. So anyways, guys, so yeah, those are kind of that's kind of it for node 12. Those are kind of the ones I got asked a lot about, nodes 3, 8, and 12. So let me know if you guys have any other nodes you're running into issues with. I have the full gameplay video as well. I'll put that in the description for you guys, so you guys can find that. But hopefully this video helps you guys out, and hopefully you guys are able to kind of truck through the negative zone here. It didn't take us too long to get to node 13, and yeah, I'll probably just take my time with it. Kind of got a few things I gotta run to today, but yeah, anyways, yeah, so there you guys have it here. Again, we did the sack, and we finished it off there. And again, I think node 12 people just, yeah, that's one of the problematic ones that people don't like, and I totally understand it. It's totally understandable. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Hopefully these 3 nodes help you guys out, and always a pleasure, always appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.